Good day, Mr. Trump. This is day 10 of the video messages to you or any other presidential candidate who's going to give us the respect enough to answer the 6 questions that we've been asking for the last 10 days. And we're going to continue to ask the same 6 questions and add a little bit more to each one of them for the next 394 days. You know, this is a pretty damn easy scam to uncover. Taking people's animals away from them, putting them in their own sanctuaries in order to raise money for themselves. Should be called theft. One of the biggest criminal activities going on in America right now under a 501c3 status. You know, we have organizations out there like PETA, the Humane Society of the United States, ROAR, WWF, Big Cat Rescue, the list goes on, that put on their websites that all these animals belong in the wild, and they show pictures of them being dead in the wild. They show pictures of them being slaughtered in China. It's not happening here in America, but they're raising millions and millions of dollars, and not a goddamn dime of it goes to help the animals in the wild. So I got one challenge for any of you presidential campaign people and Donald Trump especially. Let's change some of these 501c3 laws. And if you're raising money for a certain purpose, 30% of that at least should be sent to help build more sanctuaries in the wild and hire rangers to protect them from poachers. Putting 100% in your pocket to buy rent houses, condos, throw big parties is pure bullshit. Taking money from the American people under false pretenses to help animals, and it ain't going to the animals. I can show you today, just Carol Baskin alone, over 60 counts of felony fraud for notary fraud, of where she's using that money and buying rental property on the sake of animals. Giving the Humane Society $25,000 for a card table at a hotel and calling it advertisement when it's really laundering money from one 501c3 organization to another in order to take people's rights away and take their animals away, put them in their own Global Federation of Animal sanctuaries, and raise the same goddamn money off of them. This shit's got to stop. The sicker I get, the madder I get, and I don't care whose toes I step on. They've stripped me of everything I own for this fight, and the only thing I got left is however many days I've got on this planet. And I don't give a shit anymore. You're going to start hearing it straight from the truth, and I'm going to start naming names. They can sue me till the fucking cows come home. But this is the 6 questions that we want to know. Here in America, we have a war in the animal world and the animal rights people in order to take our rights away. And 62.8 million people here in America own pets, and we'd like to know your comments and your concerns about a few issues. Question number 1. How do you feel about 501c3 organizations here in America that are scamming the public for hundreds of millions of dollars to take care of animals, and none of it goes to the animals? 90% of it goes to lobbyists to pass laws to further their agenda. 2, it seems like terrorist is the number 1 topic anytime you turn the news on anymore. Are you aware that our own government, the United States Department of Agriculture, declared PETA a number 1 domestic terrorist in the United States on November the 30th, 2009, and they're still a non-profit tax organization here in America? How can you be a terrorist and get a tax break from your own country right here in America? 3, we'd like to know your opinion on how you feel on online bullying, not only of children, but adults, in the name of free speech, in order to bash somebody and ruin their reputation and their good name, only to make money for yourself and get away with it under the Declaration of Free Speech. 4, we'd like to know, how come us Americans that own our own property, own our own houses, and pay taxes on them do not have the right to have our own pets that we choose to have on our property or in our homes? Number 5, do you not think that we Americans have the right to assume the risk of our profession, no different than a cop, a firefighter, an oil rig worker, or anyone else that has the assumption of the risk of their professions? It is our right. And please, if you become president, give us back our right. And number 6, one of the most important, and this kind of touched on your speech at the Oklahoma State Fair about things being made in other countries and taxing them when they come into America. Do you not believe that it should be a right that any product made from the rainforest or an animal's habitat somewhere in the world should be taxed in order to be sold in America, and that tax money go back to helping rebuild the habitat and the rainforest so some of these animals don't become extinct in the futures to come? I'm Joe Exotic, and along with 62.8 million other people, we'd like to know if you have any answers for any of this. And you wouldn't believe the support you would get. But this war on American citizens and their animals has got to come to a stop. Well, that's our 6 questions, and I'd like to know some answers about this 501(c)(3) status in America of just letting people fraud people for money after they've worked their ass off for it just because they care about animals. And none of it, hardly any of it, if any of it, is going to help the animals. Now, I have been throwing up for 84 days straight. And if you don't think I can't sit on this picnic table for 394 more days and stir some shit, you haven't met Joe Exotic. That's my video message for today. The American people, if you want to change some shit in this country, start hitting that share button. I'll see you tomorrow.